Jello Beats, holla at me.
Hey guys, and welcome back to another video, and welcome back to the channel. So today we are going to be talking about what happened, or what has happened, after my bodybuilding shows. Because yesterday I spoke about on my Instagram story about a friend of mine that reached out for some advice post-show. And he was struggling a little bit with the sort of, not so much binging. I wouldn't really categorise it as binging. I'd more so categorise it as just the urge and the feel and the need to overeat, which is very normal. It's a physiological adaptation of a contest prep diet. So as you diet down, these physiological changes and like your metabolism adapts to the point where you will feel the urge and the need to overeat. And this is relative to, like I said, physiological changes with leptin, ghrelin, hunger hormones, etc. So that's a very normal thing. And I thought that to make it sound a little bit more normal and to talk about my experiences and potentially my coping strategies, I'd run through both what happened in my 2014 contest prep and then obviously my 2015. So I'm going to try and keep this under 10 minutes. I'm just going to briefly sort of take you through what happened and my experiences and hopefully give you some relatable content. So in 2014, I did my first ever contest prep. And throughout the process, I was using flexible dieting, and it wasn't rigid flexible dieting. It was probably my most flexible point. Okay, so, and in studies, it's been shown that the end of a flexible diet, people tend to not binge and not gain the weight back as much as other people that follow more rigid approaches like meal plans. It's actually been shown in research that. However, I don't think that research has realistically been done in contest prep. Obviously, at the end of a contest prep, you have a lot more adaptations, as I've spoken about. So by the end of 2014, I mean, my coach did obviously tell me the idea of a reverse diet, and at that point in 2015, the recovery diet and the idea behind pushing up your calories a little bit faster was not so prevalent. It was more so the reverse diet was more so a little bit slow and steady. Yet, I was pretty food focused. Like every night in my contest prep, I was going to bed and I remember, because my sleep was poor, so poor, and I made it poor because I'd go to bed with the TV on, watching diners and fucking drive-ins. Serious. Like, that's what I was doing every night. Diners and drive-ins and bed. And that just created such a bad relationship with food that all I wanted to do when I finished was just eat the world. I can remember a friend baking a box of cookies for me. I got off stage at the BNBF finals in 2014 and I ate all of the box. All of it. Gone. Done. I wasn't even like as peeled as I am now, and I just had such a bad relationship with food that I just nailed the box. Felt okay about it. And then me and my dad, who were in Liverpool at the time, I think he said, what do you want to eat? And I was just like, what's the nearest place? I didn't really care. All I cared about was just eating. And that's just so sad, because I'll go on to it later, but now I'm just not like that whatsoever. So I think we went to Burger King, had a really crap burger, and then because I was like, my palate was just like, I want everything, I think there was a McDonald's next to the Burger King, and after the Burger King I went to get McDonald's and got like just the cheesy fries and 2 McFlurries. And then by that point, my stomach was gone. Like, I was very in a bad way. Got in the car, I can remember taking some like relaxants for my stomach, or like Rennie tablets, those sort of things, to try and get my digestive tract moving, because my stomach was in bits. I can remember being like really feeling like shit. And then I got back to where we were staying and then just nailed more food, and then again made my stomach really hurt, and then just like spent the entire night just in pain. And that's not really how you want to finish a contest prep. Okay, so I knew that experience. I think that experience happens with most in their initial run. they're in a sort of initial contest prep, you're going to have something like this happen at some point, guys. So I just want to talk about that and say that when you compare and contrast it to what I do this year, it's probably because my coping strategies and my experience has changed. So when you see me and you see me post show in this current state, and you see me not go crazy, don't think that I'm so robotic and so perfect, because trust me, I've been there and I've done it. I've made mistakes, or at least I've done the silly things. One thing that I would say about that is that with that sort of initial crazy bump that I had and the weight gain that I had after that, and I wasn't as lean as I was in 2015, but after that I didn't really sort of have any issues. I sort of got back on track. My weight just sort of plateaued at about 8 pounds, 10 pounds above, I remember, and then I started a gaining phase. Okay, so remember that. I didn't really have much struggles, but I wasn't as lean. So that's pretty much the reason why. But there might be some other reasons why there. So then in 2015, I did a bunch of shows. I was contest lean for at least 8 weeks, at least 2 months. And, you know, people that know me can remember that season being very long. It'll be very similar to this year. So my coping strategies have probably improved as a result of doing that length of prep. So I was very lean. After my first show, I can remember having one meal, then getting back on track, and then sort of coming home, and because my parents were still away and I was out of routine, this is a big thing, guys, when you're out of routine, things can get a bit messy. I can remember just coming home, even though I'd won, I just was like, right, I'm just going to have a day of eating whatever I want, and I can remember making this giant pasta bake, like, you know, like a pasta bake tray that you make for like a family. Like, I'd made the entire pasta bake for a family of like 8 for me. And yeah, I had like loads of ham, loads of broccoli, tomato, like, oh man, loads of cheese. I nailed that, nailed some dessert stuff, and you know, like the night after the show, I didn't go crazy at all. It was really weird. I just wanted to like have a meal, go to bed. And then I went crazy a bit crazy when I went home, and then my scale weight probably jumped up like 5 pounds the next day, got back on track. And then for the later shows, I didn't really want to feel like that again. So I can remember having just one meal and then get back on track. One meal, get back on track. But again, I did gain some body weight from those meals. And, you know, as much as you can't really gain legitimate body fat from one day of overfeeding, I don't think that set me up well psychologically moving forward. I think that just sort of made me sort of resent the dieting process a little bit more. So show to show, guys, I recommend if you're doing back-to-back shows, I really recommend just keeping it as tight as you can post-show, and maybe, you know, having one conservative meal that's, you know, maybe not tracked, but is conservative and not silly, and then just get back into your routine. That would be my advice, okay? So that's show to show. And then at the end of the season, I really had a good rein on things because I didn't want to feel like crap, and I knew that I had a long off-season ahead. So I tried to sort of raise my food really slow and steady. And I adhered to that for a good 2 to 3 weeks, until at that point, all that I was getting online and all that I was getting from friends was eat. That's all I got was eat. AJ need to eat. AJ need to grow. AJ need to eat more calories. Eat. And I was getting forced down this like route of just like people telling me to eat more because they were seeing me bump up my calories slowly, staying relatively lean, and they thought that was wrong. And in hindsight, the way that I was doing it, the state that I was doing it, the rate was too slow, and I was probably needing to go faster. But with people shouting in my ear, eat, it became quite a psychological battle. At the end of the day, when I'd sit down, I've had my oats with my family, I was trying to spend more time with my family at the time, and then I just find myself like picking at like more dark chocolate and picking at more rice cakes and just picking at things like probably 3 to 4 weeks into the reverse. And then it just got to the point where like the picking became like not logging it, and then I became a bit resentful for tracking macros. So I moved away from tracking macros for a little bit, and then I started to just again like sort of settle into a routine. But that first month or two up till Christmas was probably it was just horrible. I really shouldn't have put myself through that. And if anything that I would change now is, and what I'll do in the future is make a video purely on reversing and purely on sort of what I'm going to do post-show, is I'm just going to take a little bit more of an aggressive approach, stay regimented and routined, enjoy some meals out now and again, but make them sensible, and just get back into a routine straight away and feel like I can set calories at an adherable level. That's something big, guys, is that if you aim to track post-show, please make it adherable, because if you don't, that's where the issues massively they come in big time. So make the calorie jump that you make initially adherable, adhere to that, and then you'll be happy in the way that you're approaching things. Guys, you're gonna be hungry post-show. You're going to be hungry for probably at 2 to 3 weeks, if not a month, depending on where you got, how lean you got, etc. So please be aware that is very normal. Try to adhere to a calorie amount that you set, and just try and stay consistent with that. But it's absolutely 100% normal if you feel the urge to overeat. I wouldn't categorize that as binge. I wouldn't categorize that as an eating disorder or anything. I categorize that as fucking normal. Okay, it's fucking normal. So don't hate on yourself. Don't get yourself down about it. Like, stay positive, train hard, set calories at an adherable level, and then make sure that over the course of time you're just progressing in the manner that you want to. If anything, if you do go a little bit fast, you can do a mini cut later along the line, but don't for at least 2 to 3 months of getting into a surplus, guys, before you even think about getting into a deficit. If you got contest lean, the worst thing that you can do is add calories too quick, and then want to do a mini cut. Not a good plan. You'll really fuck up your off season. You'll really fuck up your mentality. So stay progressive in your training. Focus on that. Get really attentive with your logbook, and you'll enjoy things. I promise you. Cool, guys. So I thought I'd share my experiences today. Hope this has been an insightful video. And any questions, please ask. Don't nail McDonald's and Burger King post-show because your stomach will hurt. Cheers, guys. See you later.